Remember, the event will follow Masters Worlds. Remember what our sport is. Our sport is a bunch of white, blue, and purple belt, recently divorced guys trying to get back in shape on steroids, fighting to the death. And they do that in Vegas every year at the Masters Worlds. Those people will be wanting to watch CJI.
Greetings, Jiu-Jitsu nerds. It's Alex Wendling here for the first episode of Borrowed Time with Craig Jones, where we're going to be bringing all the CJI2 news. And as you guys know, Craig Jones' blood results have shown that his life expectancy is 45 years of age. And at the ripe age of 42, he just turned this past July. We truly are on Borrowed Time with the Aussie, who is going to be joining us later on in the show. But he's been a really tough man to track down. He's been all over getting foot tattoos and spitting miscellaneous objects into women's mouths. Let's check up to see what he's been up to.
There we go, Craig. You on a tutorial? I will. That's harder, sure. Oh. Hey! 960.
A lot like the chaos in Craig Jones' life, chaos is about to ensue in the jiu-jitsu community with this major breaking news announcement. It is official. The America's coach for the Misfits team is locked in. Find out who now. Hello, jiu-jitsu nerds. The jiu-jitsu world is about to be shaken up with the news of the America's Misfits team coach. It is none other than Standard Jiu-Jitsu Academy's Greg Souders. Greg, how are you doing? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you're feeling about being the America's Misfits coach.
Oh, it feels great. We've made a lot of noise in the last couple years as a team, and getting the invite to coach a bunch of guys that I've never coached before is an exciting prospect, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
How do you think the jiu-jitsu community is going to react to you being the coach of the America's Misfits team?
I think it's going to be mixed. I think a lot of people will be angry, but a lot of people will be happy. I think everyone will be interested regardless. But no, who knows? We'll see how they react, right?
And is there anyone that you have confirmed for your team so far?
Am I allowed to say? Yeah, DeAndre Corby for 66 is confirmed, and that's all I know right now. All
right, and since that's all you know right now, is there any plans for having some type of trials event? I know the Giles Trials is going down for the Australasia team, but is that something you're considering as well?
I don't know, man. We have so many strong American prospects. I don't think we need to make them fight each other. You know, we have a long history of what the Americans are capable of at the highest level of competition. So I guess we just look at who's doing the best in a wide range of different tournament rule sets, and we pick the ones that are most appropriate.
Just for clarification for people, this is not USA Misfits team. This is all of the Americas. So what is this process looking like for you?
What I probably will do is look historically for the interactions in each of those weight classes. So seeing the athletes that are already selected and then looking back at how those athletes have interacted with other athletes in that same weight category would be how I make my decision. So, for example, let's say we have PJ Barch at 77. Let's just say that's what we have, right? How many different guys have faced him at that weight, and what did those outcomes look like? This would be how I make my selection for who's going to represent those weight categories.
And when we think about the possibility of a 66 kilogram guy going up against an over 99 kilogram, do you think that paying close attention to people who perform well in the absolute divisions is going to be an important asset that you're looking for in these athletes?
Absolutely. The ability for a smaller weight guy to withstand and survive against a heavier weight guy is critical to that success. So that's another thing we would consider. Which lighter weight guys interact at the heavier weight classes, and how do they perform? Do they win? Do they lose? Do they draw? Do they get submitted? All these things need to be considered historically before we make a selection on who we pick to represent whichever weight category.
And do you want people reaching out to you for a spot?
Sure. Athletes that are motivated, they want an opportunity to show what they're capable of, they want to represent, of course. That's a critical part of it. It's not just picking good athletes, but it's about picking athletes who have the desire to challenge themselves in this way and step up to the plate. Again, let's say an athlete has historically done better or worse. Well, this is a new opportunity for anybody to fill that gap and be better than they have been before. So that's definitely something I'm open to.
And the Misfits are going to be going against some heavy hitting teams. You got New Wave in there, you got B Team. So how confident are you of the chances of the America's Misfits team?
I'm confident that regardless of who we're facing, we're going to put every ounce of effort in that we can. Both the athletes that are chosen, of course, myself as a coach. So, same chances we always have.
And when you're looking at some of the teams that have been announced, do you feel like there's one that is particularly a threat to win the whole thing?
I mean, not yet, because anytime we're putting groups of guys together like this, we're talking about the best people representing their area, and we're having the best enter a novel environment, something that's relatively new. So the truth is I think it's up for grabs for anybody. I don't think there's a guarantee or a certainty in any direction. So, and plus I don't think like that anyway. So it's just, we're going to find out what happens in real time, day of, really.
Now give me your take on this interesting kind of hybrid quintet format that they have going on and how it could impact the action we see at CJI 2.
I don't know. I don't know if I really have a strong opinion on what I think is going to happen. I'm the kind of guy that likes to just let things go, see how they play out, and to make adjustments on the fly. I don't know. These new rule sets that are coming up create interesting outcomes and different interesting interactions, and I'm just as excited as everyone else to see how it plays out.
And when we think back to the inaugural CJI, were you watching that all go down, or were you there? And what was your opinion and takeaway from the biggest weekend in submission grappling?
Well, yeah, I was there. So we had DeAndre competing at ADCC. So they were right next to each other. So we would go back and forth between watching that and CJI. And of course, CJI was a little bit more entertaining. So it was a good time, man. It was good to watch the show, to see Craig and his crew shake things up. And to see how excited the athletes were to get involved in that new thing. So, yeah, it was very cool to be part of it. It was very cool to watch. And it's even more cool now to be part of it again.
So you got to experience ADCC and then also CJI with the pit. What was your opinion, and how do you think the pit could be utilized to the grappler's advantage?
I don't know yet, man. To be honest, I have to see a little bit more of it. I think it's an interesting constraint on the environment. So I'd like to get a chance to play a little bit inside a pit and see what we can create, see what kind of craziness it causes. But it's an exciting new addition to the mats, and I'm looking forward to see more usage of it as we do more and more pit-style tournaments.
And as the coach for the Misfits team, you could have some teammates that don't know each other. So how do you think your role as a coach will help play out with that team dynamic?
Well, convincing everyone that we're a team. We have to do this together. No individual is as important as the other. And if we don't interact well and train together well, give our full effort, give our full focus, and realize that, again, we're accomplishing something as a team, I think we could miss. But I think if I can convince people that, again, we are here together, we are the American team, we are the Misfits, and we have an opportunity to do something big and cool, man, we can get the outcome we want.
And we obviously have a lot of time before CJI 2. And Misfits, it's a little bit different because you guys don't have one home base. So do you have any plans for getting your team together so that you guys can work together and know each other's games?
Oh, absolutely. Once we make our selection and we know who's going to be on the team, I'm going to put a call out. Get to the gym, stay with us as long as you can, and let's work together. I mean, really, it is about the training. It's not just the people you select, but how you train to prepare for the event. So whoever we select, we would love to come stay at standard from as soon as you can to the very last minute. To work with you as much as possible.
And how soon are you hoping to have your team completely figured out and announced?
As soon as possible. As soon as we're able to pull it all together.
So CJI 2 is a little bit special in the format. These coaches, they're not just picking the teams and going to be on the sideline. They're going to have a much more interactive role, choosing the order the day of the event. So Greg, what is your strategy when you're looking at the responsibility you'll have as coach?
Well, I would focus on three things. I would focus on first the athletes I have and knowing what their capabilities are historically. So that's critical for me to understand. The second would be the same thing on the other team. So who are you facing? What are the skills of the other people as we decide who's going to go with who? And then finally, I think the opinions of the athletes themselves, knowing which one of our guys would like to fight which one of them. So I think making the decision both with my knowledge as a coach of the team I have, the team we're facing, and also the input of the athletes, I think is all critical. And trying to bring those three things together to determine what might be the best while we're in the fire making that decision in real time.
And I am curious on your take of the wild card aspect. Have you decided which weight division that is going to be for and how you think that could impact the results of CJI 2?
Unfortunately, I have not. I don't have an opinion on it yet.
And I know we are months away from the event, but from this perspective right now, what do you think the key to victory will be to win CJI 2?
Well, having a bunch of athletes that don't know each other, that might not have worked together before, getting them to work as a cohesive team is going to be, I think, the thing that's going to make the difference. So if I can get them to come together and get them convinced to train in the way I would have them train, I think, that's what I think the key to success is. I'm excited to work with some guys I've never worked with before, and I'm excited to see how they all interact with one another. So I'm just happy to be part of it.
We are so happy that you are a part of it as well, and we cannot wait to see you. CJI 2, this is the reveal of the first Misfits team, America's. Congratulations, and we'll see you there.
Cool. Sounds good. Thank you.
Now, earlier in the show, we were having issues tracking down Craig. At first, we thought he was in Australia, and it turns out he's in Dubai doing what we're not sure we want to know. But let's hear from the man himself. Joining us now is the man. It is Craig Jones. Craig, how are your feet doing, and yourself, of course?
Myself's never too good. The feet are now matching really what I feel on the inside. But yeah, feet are horrible, but hopefully this joke plays out for me. And really the goal with it is to see how fast those big broadcast channels can censor my feet. Just the thought of a UFC embedded editor having to censor my feet every time they appear in a fighter's training video is really what gets me over the line there.
Well, I know that a lot of talk about CJI 2 and Quintet will make you feel better. Can you tell us about the inspiration for CJI collaborating with Quintet?
Honestly, it probably won't make me feel better. It's actually the way more work than the first one, trying to get these teams together. It's like herding cats. But yeah, the inspiration is Quintet. Quintet is the event I had the most fun ever participating in. I think I've done 3 of them, 2 with Team Polaris, 1 with B Team. And generally speaking, why I think it's the best event is because whenever I've brought people that don't follow jiu-jitsu or participate in it, that's the event that they actually had the most fun attending. So I think it has the most sort of mainstream appeal. Sakuraba recognized that, except for some reason he has a phobia of heel hooks. So he banned heel hooks from his event. So I think really that was the only thing it needed touching up. And then in terms of the format of how we're doing it, we're stealing a bit from professional wrestling to really make Quintet even more exciting again for the fans.
Yeah, CJI 2 definitely has this hybrid vibe to it. It's not exactly Quintet rules. A lot of people and fans in the comments were like, oh, Quintet. So what was your instant reaction if you saw some of the comments from fans saying, why are we doing a team format? Why are we doing Quintet?
Yes. I mean, honestly, I get more complaints about, like, I got so many complaints in the CJI 1 rule set. They're like, oh, I don't like rounds. That's the worst part about MMA. We shouldn't do that. I don't like the 10-point must system. Obviously wrong. And I think every event out there will basically adopt that. No one really criticized the pit. Honestly, I get more criticism of the rules and teams format stuff than I do of any of the inappropriate jokes I put out there, which I think says a lot about the people that follow me. I can get away with a lot before they put up a fuss. But yeah, their problem was that they thought CJI 1 was sort of perfect in its own right. But I didn't want to really just replicate it and do it again because I know other events out there are going to try and steal everything we really did in that show, including our employees, Alex Wenling, you trader. But yeah, in terms of the team's format, what my vision is for it and why it's going to be so exciting is one thing Quintet did is you would have a prearranged order. So you might have, there'd be 4 teams and you would prearrange your first order and say you finish the other team because it's last man standing. So double elimination basically. So 2 guys go out. The only way one of those guys stays in is to submit the other one and he stays in until he gets submitted or there's a draw. but they'd have a prearranged order. What I think we're doing different and what makes it so much more exciting, makes the coach so much more important, right, is, and this is what we're borrowing from Royal Rumble. So I want people to capture my overly stimulated vision of what we have going on here. But let's say we have like Deemer out there as a coach, John Danaher on the other side. They will do their walks. Obviously, John is going through some physical pain. His walkout might be a bit longer, but we'll have them standing either side. They can pick whoever they want to go first, and that could be anyone of their 66, 77, 88, under and over 99 kilos. So they'll have to strategize. They'll be like, hey, do we sacrifice our little midget in the first round on the off chance that who knows who they're going to put out on the other side, right? But it'll be Royal Rumble style entrance. So Danaher will be like, send in Giancarlo. Giancarlo makes the walk. And then the other coach, for the first match, will have already set his first guy. But then based on that first result, let's say that Nicky Robb is our first guy. He submits Giancarlo. Now Danaher, obviously Nicky Robb gets to bask in his own glory a little bit, hopefully keep his rash guard on because he's about to continue competing. It's going to be probably a big difficulty. He loves to pull that thing off. So then Danaher will have about maybe 10, 15 seconds to now strategize against who's going to send in to face Nicky Rod. And then we'll see the replay of the finish, and then it's going to be a 10-second timer on the screen. And as that goes down to 0, obviously Nicky Rod's looking concerned who's coming next. Our team is, the fans are, the people live, the commentary booth. You guys won't have any idea either. So everyone will be like, who's next? So it's like, it's really going to emphasize that excitement about who could possibly be next. And I mean, even as a competitor, it's kind of like Quintet had a little bit of that because when you were on the side, you were like, if you weren't the first guy, you didn't really know who you were going to face. So you had to be really, it was a weird area of warming up and stuff like that. But it's going to be crazy to submit a guy and just be looking at a 10-second timer being like, who the fuck are they sending out next? And I think that aspect of it be really, really exciting.
And when we think back to the inaugural quintet, you led the Polaris Dream Team. At the time, you were the middleweight Polaris champ. So what was your perspective on having a dream team like that? And why was it such a point to you to not have super teams for CJI 2?
All right. So I'm sorry if my camera looks different. It's because my assistant Seth just interrupted the phone call and totally destroyed me recording this on my phone. But yeah.
Destroyed the flow.
Fucks things up as per usual. But really, what did we want to change about Quintet was that the real answer of a teams event is a real team. You want to know who's the best team in the world. And that's something I respect 10th Planet for, and something they would bring up all the time when we competed against them in that format. They'd be like, well, you're a dream team and we're a real team. And obviously I agree with them, but I'd never let them hear that from me at the time because I'd want to bask in the victories we had over them. But really, we want to know as fans. Obviously, I'm a fan. I'm not participating in the team event. I just get a builder. But we want to know who's the best team in the world. So let's do real teams. Let's see who really is the best team in the world. Forget about your IBJJF medals, your ADCC medals. And that's why I wanted to do not a weight division as a whole that I think it was like 965 pounds or something like that. We wanted to do the ADCC weight division. So I do recognize ADCC still is kind of the Olympic of the sport. So it's like, hey, let's take your basically your 5 weight class ADCC guys against ours, and we'll see how that matches up, and that's what I really wanted to emphasize with this. Real team versus real team, and a representative from each of those teams' weight divisions there. That's what I wanted. That's where you get the real bragging rights, like this will have more weight than, we had 2 ADCC champions. You know what I mean? Like, I think like if Atos comes out, wins the teams event, you can now say, I am the best team in the world.
And at what point were you sitting in your bed thinking, wild card, we need wild card? And do you think that the people at home saying, oh, the wild card takes away from the team aspect have any right to say that? Or do you think that this just adds another interesting element?
I do hear what they're saying, but at the same time, it is very hard to fill 5 weight divisions from one team. Even teams like New Wave and Atos, like if I call Andre Galvao and said, name your 5 best guys, 1 in each division, they're going to name 3, 4 really easy. So that is first and foremost difficult to do. And also we wanted some of the guys that belong to small teams to still have a shot. And I think if you bring in a wild card, but the meat of the team is still 4 year guys, I still think you've got some bragging rights there. But like a classic example would be like a Victor Hugo or a Fabricio Andre, guys that it's like, we want them in, we need him in. For a guy like Victor, obviously we want to reward him for participating in CJI 1 over ADCC. So it's like we just did not want those guys to miss out. So I really had to brainstorm some solutions there to find ways to include those guys in the event.
So now guys that don't have big teams, they have a few different options. They have the misfits kind of going on, and then they have the opportunity potential for the wild card. Do we have any breaking news on wild card information?
Oh, I mean, we might as well put it in there. Obviously, if it gets cut, but we do have the jump. We do have an advantage here. We have the home ground advantage. So we stole him. So we put him as our. So our team will be which is a pretty powerhouse team. I think it's going to be a tough team to beat.
And that is breaking news. We have no idea if we're just going to mute it and have everyone live in suspense for that. But let's get back to Quintet. The original Quintet and the differences between Quintet and CJI2. Inaugural Quintet, you couldn't do heel hooks, so you opted to do a few knee bars in the inaugural Quintet. When we think back to the submission that you had against Mindaugas Verzbiskas, do you remember having him in that knee bar position, giving him the chance to kind of get out of it, and then we just heard the ultimate grossest pop that almost made me quit my job today?
Yeah, it was. That was a very strange one because it was the Sambo team. I think it was a Lithuanian Sambo team, and like whenever a guy doesn't tap to a submission, I'm like, is he getting paid a lot more money than me? Because I for sure would tap. Like, who cares either way on this? But yeah, because there was no heel hooks. And I essentially only have heel hooks. I was like, well, we need to just change things up a bit. We didn't have the Sashinsky style vicious footlocks. We didn't know about them at the time, So we really didn't respect straight ankles. It was from an era where like the Meow brothers just kept letting their ankles break, being like, don't tap. And then we'd try it, still get our ankles broken a bit. But yeah, so I had to go for knee bars. Knee bars were legal, no rotational locks. Again, something that's bizarre to me. A lot of MMA fighters, Sakuraba made those rules. He's scared of leg locks, but he'll have an actual fight. So I don't understand it. But yeah, I put him in the knee bar, and I knew he wasn't a super experienced grappler per se. So I gave him a chance to tap. And sometimes when you give them a bit of rope, they slip out of there. So we got like a little pop on it. And I remember I was just like quite irritated at the waste of energy and just being nice to him there. So like, I'd only isolated one leg in that move, and that makes it easy to rotate out of knee bars. I'll be that guy. I probably could have ripped it. We did get a pop. So then the next time I locked it up and secured the second leg. And even then, I like really braced into it before I completely broke his leg. I kind of didn't hear it at the time. I didn't realize how bad it was. I think I even helped him up. And then when he stood on his leg, it like buckled backwards. And I remember being like, what the fuck is wrong with these Eastern European people? They're just like so much on the line. They think so much on the line, not much is really on the line in a situation like that. I remember seeing him, I can't even remember. I remember seeing him in Tokyo that night, walking around with his friends, just like a fucking giraffe that had just been born for the first time. Just leg kept buckling in. I think like he probably still has problems with that today. And I'm just like, the fuck, bro? Made me do that to you.
Definitely one of the most gruesome knee bars I've ever seen. It sounded like the microphone was right near the knee. And you brought up how he was on Team Sambo, and a big theme when it came to the inaugural quintet was bringing the best from judo, the best from jiu-jitsu, the best from Sambo. When we think about CJI2, is there any inspiration to follow that narrative and maybe bring in people from different submission grappling arts like the wrestlers? Or is there enough of in a big enough talent pool of submission grapplers that you don't really feel the need to include a team of just wrestlers or people who aren't going to be able to get those submissions?
It's a fun idea to include wrestlers for sure. We'll throw a couple in there. Obviously, I mean that's why I have the Gable match. We want to like get at that wrestling audience and try to poach some of their viewers. But in the format we're doing, where really submission is heavily rewarded, we're making them participate in a rule set that they don't have much experience in. Like if it was you win a decision, you stay in, then sure, we could throw some wrestlers in there. But like when it comes to the submission only game, it's really, there's no point having him in there. I do understand where he was coming from by doing that, like appealing to that sort of old school style of martial art versus martial art. But really, when it comes to submissions, jiu-jitsu is number one. Catch wrestling, obviously, is a myth. Sambo guys are just guys in the gi that refuse to wear pants and are scared of heel hooks. So really, we just need to focus on the jiu-jitsu guys for this event. We will throw in, probably have a Pat Downey in there. You know, we've got to reward him for the chant he created. I like to call him Pat Downey Syndrome, but he will be our wrestling representative in one of these teams for sure.
Yeah, and we definitely have to imagine that these coaches aren't going to want to put people on their team that can't get the submission. So we got to talk about the coaches. The breaking news that just happened, Misfits America's team is Greg Souders. Can you first talk about the importance that the coach, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but how do you think these coaches are going to come into this and what is their strategy going to be?
Yeah, so obviously the coach is going to be important, really, and it's not, I don't know how important, if they're going to gamify the first match. We might see a lot of the coaches just put in their biggest guy, just so it's the lowest risk of starting one down. If you throw in a 66er first round, almost, what is it, 4 times the chance that he's going to be facing a bigger guy. So we might see a lot of coaches stack the deck in the first match by putting in the biggest human they have. But where it's going to come into play is that you're going to see how coaches think people match up against each other. So he's going to have to, if he has one of his guys get submitted, he's going to have to look at the other guy. So like Matus Sashinsky, if he's in there, right, and he just footlocks 2 of you guys, you're just trying to look at the next 3. The next 3 will be out back. Like Quintet would have him next to the coach. If you get submitted or you have a draw, you'll be next to the coach. So you get that sort of pressure and the camaraderie there. But yeah, they'll be out back, and the coach is really going to have to be like, fuck, who do I put up against this guy? And I think the coach is going to feel a lot of pressure. Like if you're the coach and the other guy just submits everyone, you're just like, oh, bring this guy in, submitted, bring the next guy in. You know, it's gonna suck. So the coach will have a much bigger role in this in terms of matchup. He'll be able to be his own matchmaker if he's on the losing side of things here.
What was your reaction to when Greg said that he isn't planning on doing trials for the America's Misfits team?
I'll be honest, I had no reaction at all. I just let the coaches do whatever they want to do. Lachlan Giles is running wild with some crazy trial style event. I'm not sure I even fully understand it, but it's like there's some sort of running the gauntlet of all these lower ranked guys, and then there'll be a proper tournament at the top. So like if the guy runs through everyone at the bottom and then wins the tournament at the top, holy shit, we might even switch out fuck Ethan off, bring that guy into our team, you know. But that is a crazy event he's doing. I really appreciate. Giles is a guy that'll sometimes, even to his detriment, will take it maybe too far sometimes, with just like fairness and just details and just. So it's like it's hard for me to even follow what he's doing, to be honest. Just let him run wild.
It's definitely very exciting that we are going to have the Giles trials and Giles as a coach in general. But tell me why you chose Coach Ferris to lead the European Misfits team.
Well, Coach Ferris, as I'm aware, is the king of Brazil, and he annoys many, many people. And that bodes quite highly in my book. And I mean, like, to be honest, like I've seen I'll be honest, I didn't watch him. I've seen Greg Souders in some debates, you know, like a debate on how to learn. I'm going to get about 2 minutes into that, you know, but he is controversial as well in his own right with his own philosophy about training jiu-jitsu. So like he's controversial as well. So I love that they're both controversial. Farris too is actually running wild with what he wants to do. We haven't locked down exactly what he wants to do, but I have a feeling he's going to be doing a trial style event. And we might have to cut this, but we can confirm Owen Jones, Mateus Sashinsky will be the sort of, they don't have to earn their spot on Team Euros. They'll be on that European team.
And now, you're going to have so many things going on. I remember for the inaugural CJI, you were handling the stress pretty well-ish, but now you have even more on your plate with the teams, so many people to deal with, and then also your own super fight. So do you feel like it's going to be even more stressful knowing that you're not going against Gabby Garcia this time, you're going up against an Olympic wrestler? Is that going to add stress to your plate?
There's a lot of talk about plates, so you get me excited. I'm envisioning Perth all over again. But yeah, that is going to be stressful. really, like, I did not train, and this wasn't any disrespect to Gabby Garcia. I just couldn't train. Like, we had to put CJI1 together in 3 months, and it was just, there was so much work. Obviously, I didn't need to be traveling to fucking war zones and shit, but we committed to that beforehand. And Rohit needed a little danger in his life. But for this one, I will have to train for Gable. It's hilarious how people will be like, this is a stupid match. It's an easy match. You know what I mean? It's like, he's 125 kilograms, 6 foot. That's crazy. He's the male equivalent of Gabby, but just a hell of a lot more athletic. And hopefully he takes a kiss as good as Gabby does, maybe better. I'm thinking we're going to have a similar type vibe. Not as much at stake on the line, just in case I lose. But yeah, he is a nightmare to deal with. That's a tough challenge for me. It's a lot to balance leading into this, and I will need to actually train again. I'm so busy, obviously, doing stupid commercials, and I was just helping Volkanovski. Now I'm helping Jack Della. There might even be another guy I need a corner. So it's like, there really is so much going on that I have so much trouble training. And when I go into train, it'll be some dude's fucking adcc finals match where he's like, wants to kill me. So it's like half the time I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just run on the treadmill for fucking 3 minutes.
The inaugural CJI was definitely crazy, but now CJI 2 is going to be even crazier. And I know, Craig, you're currently in Dubai to have a few meetings to pay off the debts from the inaugural CJI. So can you talk to fans about what you're having to deal with in order to pay off what we did in the inaugural CJI?
I mean, yeah, a lot of people come out here, leave with a limp in a handbag. Obviously, because of my foot tattoo, this is the first time I've entered the country with a limp. I'll for sure exit the country with a limp. But yeah, we're making things happen. Honestly, I'm on a layover out here because I was in Perth helping Jack Della. Jack Della is going to destroy Bilal Muhammad. This guy is so dangerous. He even choked me unconscious in training the other day. And that is a sign that I should probably start training again if UFC fighters are taking me out. But yeah, this is a layover on the way to Montreal. It's the fastest way for me to get here. Also a great place to meet people. I was just in Dubai recently, saw another person on the same mission as me when I'm usually in Dubai. Met an old friend, I would say. And I will be meeting, obviously, some funding options out here as well, for who knows, maybe we bring CJI to the United Arab Emirates. I would love that. UAE is great for these tournaments because, like, everyone can come here, everyone can get a visa. Anyone can enter this place, like a lot of people can't get visas to America. So there's a Russian guy who was very good. He beat Luke Griffith at the IEGRA event. And I would have loved to have him participate in the show, but he's definitely not getting a visa. But yeah, UAE definitely opens it up for the future. So hopefully we can I don't want to keep CJI in Vegas. If I keep CJI in Vegas, I will die. We're already on borrowed time as it is. I mean, I find a way to test my blood pressure and my resting heart rate in any of these countries, but particularly in Vegas. And particularly Volkanovski set me down in Miami for 10 days. That is a real risk to my health. But Dubai, more calm, more peaceful, more relaxed place. So I would enjoy to bring a CJI to Dubai.
Yeah, we're definitely running on borrowed time with Craig Jones, and that's all the time we have with him for today. But on the next episode, we will have some special news coming out, especially one that fans will be interested in. It is going to be the ticket release date. So how excited are you for that, Craig?
Yeah, I'm excited. This event is a loan. That's how much I care about you, ungrateful pieces of shit. Once upon a time, $10,000 was a huge amount of money to show up. Now, apparently it's not. Apparently everyone's a hell of a lot richer this year, but I'll encourage the fans to support it because I have to do a lot of stuff to make $2 million. I'm spitting in girls' mouths.
Breaking out the knee pads.
Breaking out the knee pads, getting foot tattoos, selling any clothing item I can. But yeah,
and the vibrators of Gabby for sure.
That's big business. But yeah, we're putting a lot into this. Despite what my social media looks like, this show's going to be 100 times better than the previous show. When tickets go on sale, obviously it's going to sound like a cheap used car salesman, which I am, but it is at the end of Masters Worlds weekend. So remember, the event will follow Masters Worlds. Remember what our sport is. Our sport is a bunch of white, blue, and purple belt recently divorced guys trying to get back in shape on steroids, fighting to the death. And they do that in Vegas every year at the Masters Worlds. Those people will be wanting to watch CJI. So tickets are probably going to move very fast on this one, just for the sheer fact that our entire fan base of jiu-jitsu will already be in Vegas. And knowing them, like me, would be seeking any excuse to slightly extend that time in Vegas. I will say that. So make sure you pay attention to when we announce the tickets being released and get on the email list.
Thank you so much, Craig. As you all know, CJI guarantees entertainment, but it's not all fun and games. As you guys know, last year, the Fair Fight Foundation had over $650,000 in proceeds to various charities. And this year, CJI and the Fair Fight Foundation will be partnering with the Guardian Project. For an inside look on the work that we'll be doing together, here is the co-founder of CJI, Seth Belisle.
Guardian is the largest global nonprofit with the sole mission to giving kids access to jiu-jitsu for free. With CJI-1, the Fair Fight Foundation was able to raise $650K to donate to charities within the jiu-jitsu community. We realized we wanted to do something more tangible with this year's donations. We wanted to give something back to donors and sponsors that they could look and feel and be a part of. Build something that would live beyond the Craig Jones Invitational, beyond my lifetime. Something that's physical, that people could go visit and they could experience how jiu-jitsu is changing lives within the communities. Guardian Project was founded in 2015 as a single gym in Oakland, California. And now they've grown to a global organization of 27 schools around the world. Over 500 kids are getting access to jiu-jitsu for free. Guardian has international schools around the globe: Peru, Ethiopia, Mongolia, just to name a few. Their sole mission is to give access to jiu-jitsu to kids for free, to change lives through jiu-jitsu, to help strengthen their mind, body, and spirit, and give them opportunities they wouldn't have in their current social environment. The Fair Fight Foundation and Guardian Project is partnering together to build an academy in Mancora, Peru, to be the flagship example of what our partnership can do, where we're coming in to an established program and set of students and putting behind it the foundation of a nice academy that has a community center, a place to teach and learn English, and training facilities for over 300 kids in the community of Mancora. We're really excited about this partnership. We have amazing partners that are already involved. Fuji thrown their hat in to help us and donate the mat space. We have other sponsors helping with gis and added things to make it a really special place and a place that people can go and visit and see where their donations went and train with these kids. The school in Mancora will have Airbnb facilities so that donors and sponsors and fans around the world can go visit, experience, and train with these kids. Mancora, Peru is a beautiful coastal city. It has amazing surf. It's like Tulum 10 years ago. Awesome people, and just an up and coming place that has a really special vibe, and they've really gotten behind jiu-jitsu. Just since our visit, Guardian Project has opened a couple more schools. So it's a really blossoming area, and we're excited to see the impact that we can further contribute with building this facility. In the upcoming weeks, we're gonna have a matching campaign so that companies, sponsors, and fans can get involved. If you're following along with socials on CJI or on our YouTube channel, you'll be able to get all the details about how you can support our mission and expanding jiu-jitsu around the world.
And that'll wrap up our first episode of Borrowed Time with Craig Jones. But before you go, Jiu-Jitsu nerds, make sure you leave a comment, because we're sure Greg Souders will be looking at all of them, and give him a piece of advice for how he should run the America's Misfits team. Also, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest and greatest news of everything CJI2, follow CJI Official on Instagram, and also check out our website, CJI2.com. I'm Alex Wendling, signing off for Craig Jones as well. We'll see you next week.